and welcome to 9 to 42, the podcast from the team at the Guitar Show UK. Join us for interviews, updates and chat with artists, influencers and those that manufacture the gear that we love. Hello and welcome to 942, which is the podcast from the guys at the Guitar Show, the Bass Show. Chase, I'm still not liking that new change of title, mate. I'm struggling with it still. Will you not reconsider?
No.
All right. What was it? Bass Show, Guitar Show before?
Well, no, it was Guitar Show for ages, and then we had basses for the first time last year, and now it's become official, and it's a right mouthful.
It is a bit. Why can't you just say Guitar and Bass Show?
Why can't we say Guitar and Bass Show, Jace?
Because I don't own that domain.
Right, okay. Poor answer, if I'm being honest. You've already heard in the background the voice of our guest, and I'm going to introduce our guest. Our guest is Wayne Hussey, and he said that he should be introduced as a man for all seasons. Was that right?
Yeah, well done. Well remembered.
Thank you. Well, it was, all 5 words of it, some of them small. Why are we going with that, Wayne? Why are we going with a man for all seasons?
Well, you were on about calling me vocalist, guitarist, songwriter, producer. I mean, yes, I do a little bit of all those things, but yeah, I just feel like I can do all of those things at any time of the year.
Oh, well, that's good. It's nice to know you're productive all year round. I thought you might take the summer off.
Well, no, we're actually in the winter here in Brazil at the moment, so I'm hard at work.
And actually, we should say that before we start, because you are indeed, I think we've never spoken to anyone in Brazil before, have we, Jason?
No, never.
Not that you know of. I could have said I was in Cleethorpes, you would have believed me.
To be honest, I would have believed you if you told me you were in Cleethorpes.
Why? Why Cleethorpes?
Bit of a Cleethorpes vibe going on there.
Oh, God. Really?
Just a little bit.
What, the accent?
Well, no, I was thinking more the colour palette. That's very Cleethorpes colour palette you've got going on.
What, black?
Well, dingy.
All right, Mr. Modern.
I know I'm looking a bit bright. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, Wayne, where do we start? Do we start with Dead or Alive? Do we start with Sisters of Mercy? Do we start with The Mission in terms of when we first got to know you?
Well, I mean, some people might have got to know me when I was in Pauline Murray and the Invisible Girls, even.
Wow!
Before Dead or Alive, I was the youngest person on tour in those days. Sadly, that's no longer the case. I'm very often the eldest, but that's by the by. Yeah, I did my first tour in 1981 with Pauline Murray and the Invisible Girls.
How old were you?
13. No. 20, 21. 20, yeah, going on 20, 21.
And you were born and raised in Liverpool, that's right, isn't it?
No, I was born and raised in Bristol.
Why where have I got Liverpool from then?
Because, my friend, when I left school, I decided I needed to leave home to pursue my dream. And that's not being a footballer. I put that one by the side by then. And it was really a choice between London or Liverpool. I had friends in Liverpool. I was a huge Beatles fan. And of course, my team is Liverpool. So, and I thought, well, London, London's big. I don't know many people there. And I thought, Liverpool's got a history of good music. So I went there. And lo and behold, I got into the Eric scene, which was the punk club at the from about 1977 till it got closed down in 1980. And that scene spawned a lot of people that are still around: Ian Brody, Budgie, Bill Drummond, Julian Cope, the Bunnymen, Orchestral Maneuvers. I've saw all early gigs by all these people at that time. That was a great time. Great scene. Holly Johnson's another. Frankie Boys. And then I was in a Liverpool band called Dead Birds. And then we got signed to Sire Records, Talking Heads label, Ramones label. And we made one single for them, and then it flopped, and we thought, well, we better split up. So that's what we did. Well, we were young, we thought we thought our first single would go, top 10, but wasn't to be. No, there were personality clashes, so we say, as there are in all bands. And then what happened? Oh yeah, then I joined Pauline Murray. I saw an advert in Melody Maker, went up to Durham and played a bit of guitar for them. They thought, yeah, he can play, and he looks the part. And then so I worked with them for a couple of years. Did a couple of singles, I think, an EP and a single, and I went out on tour. And as I said, I went out on tour like a good little Bristol boy, fresh from the sticks. Didn't smoke, didn't drink. Came back a changed man. Mm. And then yeah, then after that, Dead or Alive.
So this is pre you turn me right round and everything. This.
Yeah, well, Dead or Alive, when I joined them, were a rock band. We had drums, there was a bass player, there was keyboard player, there was me playing guitar, and it was very, if hate to use the term, but it was goth before goth was even invented.
Hmm.
And if you listen to early Dead or Alive, it's very different from what they ended up doing, and it's all my fault because I at that time I was living with a friend who was in an electronic band, and we had synths and drum machines in the flat, and I was playing around with them one day and got the drum machine working with the synth, and it was like, oh yeah, that's quite good. And then they had a CV gate on the back. So I put my guitar through that, started playing, and it was going in time with the drum machine. That was like a revelation. So I took that into Dead or Alive, and that was it. It was like Pete wanted that on everything. Got rid of the drummer, got rid of drum machine, and then we ended up signing to what was CBS, now Sony, and with the Advance, we bought an Oberheim system. Oberheim, so the drum machine, the synthesizer, and the sequencer. And I got the um, an enviable task of learning how to use all that stuff. And then Pete wanted me to put all my guitar parts into the sequencer via the synth. It was like, kind of made myself redundant here. And then they go and have a number one after I left.
Yeah, but you've done all right, really, haven't you? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I'm with Dead or Alive. I got onto Razzmatazz.
razzmatazz.
Yeah, actually, my first ever TV appearance was probably 1978, I would say, with the Deadbirds. It was Tony Wilson at Granada TV. He had a magazine show.
Mm.
Joy Division did it, famously did it. They did it a week or before or after us, and some bright spark at Granada kept the footage of them, but wiped over the footage of us. Ah, very, very, very clever man, whoever did that.
Sorry, just nipping back before I lose, because I lose train very quickly. That's a hell of a list of people you gave in Liverpool to who was floating around
Yeah,
when you arrived.
there were a lot of bands. I'm obviously forgetting some.
But it's a really eclectic mix as well, isn't it? In terms of what they ended up doing further down the line.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, basically, they used to have what they would call an open night on a th open mic night on a Thursday, where anybody could get up and jam, and we all used to get up and jam and play with each other, and it was basically very primitive cover versions of "Waiting for the Man" by the Velvets and stuff like that. So yeah, but it all evolved. I mean, we certainly with Dead or Alive. When I joined the band, as I said, it was a rock band with plenty of guitars, and I started using 12-string acoustics in Dead or Alive, which took them away a little bit from the rock thing into some other territory. But we got bored of going to the rock clubs, so we ended up going to gay clubs together, all together, the band, as a gang, and started getting into the kind of gay music. We got bored with the punk guitar music of the time, and started listening to that kind of stuff, and that obviously coloured where Pete wanted to go musically. It was a really vibrant scene. It was a really happening, there was a lot of good people came out of that.
Did you slot in quite easy? I mean, obviously, and apologies for getting your birthplace and upbringing completely wrong, but that's quite a shift, isn't it? That from where you were, and that's before we ask how the hell you were following Liverpool. But that might have been, was that because of the time? You grew up golden era Liverpool, didn't you?
Yeah, but I know 1965. I was on the playground in the school in little, shorts and stuff in Bristol, just outside of Bristol, and Liverpool got to the cup final against Leeds, and so we had to pick a team. I was only 7 years old. We had to pick a team, who we had to support. And my best friend, I remember his name, Clive Brewer. He was my best friend at the time, and he came from Liverpool. His family came from Liverpool. And he was only there at the school for a year, and then he disappeared after that. But I remember his name. And anyway, he was from Liverpool, so we supported Liverpool. And that's how I came to support Liverpool. Just think, it could have been bloody Leeds.
Yeah.
That would have been rotten. Or it could have
Leeds.
been, could have been 1968, I think. Was it that 1968 when West Brom won?
Yep, yeah, before I was born. Never seen them win anything in my entire life.
Yeah, well, as you see, it could have been 1968 West. Who did they beat?
Um,
That's put you on the spot, Jace.
It was the year before I was born. Can't remember.
Say,
The only thing I really remember about it is Jeff Astle was the first person to score in every single round of the FA Cup.
Jeff Astle, legend. There's that famous photograph of him once heading the ball. And
yes.
The ball was really kind of flattened by his head.
Yeah. And those old cases were like really heavy when they were wet, weren't they?
God, yeah, with the laces.
Yeah.
You used to head it and used to get the imprint of the laces on your head.
But that's still a jump from being asked to pick a team for a cup final to then sticking with that team when you're a long way away.
Well, what choice did I have? It was either Bristol City or Bristol
Rovers.
I had an affection for Bristol Rovers because they were closer to us. Plus, I befriended Ray Graydon, who lived near us, and he played for Bristol Rovers. And he used to take me to the matches in his car with his wife, and I loved that, being in the back of the car, driving into the stadium, in the players' entrance, and all the supporters looking. I was dying for somebody from my school to say, "Is that Wayne?" Bloody hell! But no one ever did. So I told people, and they never believed me. Anyway, he got transferred to Aston Villa, which kind of broke my heart.
Yeah, it broke my heart as well. But let's not go into my anti-Villa bias.
Let's not, eh?
This is all kind of weird as we've got onto Bristol Rovers, but the new Bristol Rovers manager lives across the road from me.
Does he really?
Yes, the one they've just appointed.
What's his name?
Clark.
Okay.
Darryl Clark. He's just been appointed. He was Huddersfield manager. I live in Holmfirth. He was Huddersfield manager.
You live in Holmfirth?
Yeah.
We played there last year. 2 shows at the
Picture-drome.
Yeah.
Yeah, cracking little venue.
2 warm-up shows there. Yeah, it was great. Really, really good. And we stayed in the little hotel pub thing right next door.
Oh, the bridge.
Yeah, I love that because you come down out of your room, go to sound check, then you go back up to your room after sound check. Come down just before you have to go on stage. I loved it.
It's a fantastic little venue. It's a proper little sweatbox as well. It's a real vibrant venue. The sound's always very good in there. He comes and does. Speaking of your Liverpool friends, Ian Brody often comes and does a Lightning Seeds kind of warm up gig there.
Yeah, that's what we did, like warm-ups. We went off to Spain and Portugal after that. Yeah, no, it was good. Ian Brody, I mean, I haven't seen Ian for, I don't know, must be getting on for 40 years. But funnily enough, he posted something on his Facebook a couple of months back, and it was a photograph of one of those Thursday nights, actually. And he was on stage with Pete Burns singing, Julian Cope playing bass, and Bill Drummond and Budgie. And I just sent a message saying, "Oh, this brings back a lot of good memories." And then it's like, "Oh, Wayne, how are you doing?" Blah blah. One of those things. It's like nice. It was nice to hear from him.
I mean, again, from somebody who wouldn't know any of that, and a lot of us wouldn't put, because as I said, those names you wouldn't necessarily naturally all put together.
No, no, you wouldn't.
And more because of where, as I say, where they went on to do and the direction they went in. But of course, when you're that age, those things don't matter, do they?
No, and I think they mattered a lot less anyway then.
Yeah.
I think just alternative music was such a broad palette then. It was a far broader palette than I think it is now. I mean, I don't know, everything's got a genre now, and
It's really confusing, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, it is really confusing. I mean, there's how many heavy metal subgenres are there? You know,
Hundreds.
same with goth and emo or what. I mean, to us it was just music, and it was non-chart music. So it was alternative. And I preferred it like that. It's a lot easier.
And there was so much guitar in it as well. That's the thing. Guitar was being used in so many interesting ways.
Not in orchestral maneuvers, they weren't.
Well, maybe not. No, okay, we'll let that
There,
one.
there were exceptions to the rule, but yes, but yeah, the guitar. It was a good time to be a guitarist. I mean, I think, as you said, I think it was being used in an interesting way, and punk did that because what punk did. I mean, okay, before that, it was all about virtuosity, in a way. Your Genesis and your Yes and things like that. And I do like some of that on occasion. And I had been playing a few years before punk came along, so I kind of, in a way, had to dumb down a little bit, rather than try and play all the intricate kind of stuff that I could play. And but it was more about attitude. It's more about creativity. It was more about a feeling rather than how many notes you could play. And what that did, as you said, the guitar ended up being used in a myriad number of ways, interestingly. And a lot, it was a pretty good time. I mean, McGeoch was one, Talking Heads, Tom Verlaine, Television. I mean, all the guitars are great on those records. XTC, you know, great guitars.
I've been sort of like researching stuff today, and like it
Oh
talks
God.
about, yeah, I mean it's Wikipedia, so who knows if it's true. um, but it talks about like your love of that sort of like early '70s glam of T-Rex and Slade
Yeah,
and Bowie and stuff like that, which isn't really that different to sort of like the punk movement. I think if you took John Lydon off the Pistols, you would essentially have Slade. It's just a different
yeah, you would.
vocal
Yeah, yeah,
delivery.
yeah. No, yeah, yeah. I mean, I did love all that like glam stuff, and at the height of the mission, when we were probably most popular, about 90, 89, 90, we went out and played a couple of shows. The Wonder Stuff asked us to support them. They did a favor for us, and in return, we said we'd support them, but we didn't want to play it as the mission, so we played it as the Metal Gurus, and we all dressed up in costumes, and played just glam rock covers. It was so much fun, and you're right. I mean, those songs are very easy to play. In essence, and it's I still love all that stuff, the glam rock stuff.
Yeah, I
Great.
said in the email yesterday when we were talking that I needed to talk about the Metal Gurus because you'd worked with Noddy and Jim Lee. How was that?
That was great. I mean, I was in their fan club. We did the Metal Gurus, and then so I don't know who had the idea, but somebody had the idea that we should record "Merry Christmas, Everybody" with Noddy and Jim Lee producing. We got Noddy doing backing vocals as well. We actually did on a B-side a version of "Goodbye to Jane." We played, and he sang, and that was quite a thrill. It was brilliant. They were great. They were a lot of fun. We thought it was going to be a huge hit. I know it was on Jukebox Jury on TV or whatever it was. Bob Geldof was on it, and everybody was the unanimous big hit. I don't think it made the top 40. It was like really disappointing. We did it for charity, but I think there was a lot of Mission fans were a bit confused by our glam rock period.
It, I mean, I don't know. I was never a goth. Did you think the fans kind of like hemmed you in as to what you could and couldn't do? And
Yeah,
you're musicians and you want to go left and right and all over the place.
for sure, for sure. I think mo most bands must feel like that. I mean, you get to know what the criterias are and what the parameters are, and whilst it's okay to work with parameters, it's also nice to stretch them. And we've made albums that really have tested our audience. Um, and and I think we needed to make those kind of records. I needed to make those kind of records because you have to obviously firstly satisfy yourself, but also I know that we made an album in '92 called Mask, which was kind of more electronic than our previous records. But it was at a time when the world was turning rock, when Nirvana was coming out and everybody was going rock. We came out with a more dance kind of record. Although it wasn't dance. There was a couple of dancey tracks.
Mm.
And our audience was just like, hate this, bloody hell, they're not goth anymore. And that was really the start of our downward spiral, really, with that album. But we need, in my view, we needed to make that to survive creatively, to
Mm.
move on creatively.
I mean, you say downward spiral, but aren't you celebrating 40 years of the mission
Yeah,
next year?
yeah. I mean, it's in terms of being the way I see it is that bands have a kind of lifespan where they have kind of a success that's very public,
Mm.
and we've been around probably since 86, 87, started having top 40 hits and stuff. And then by 92 they kind of dried up. Um, but we still had a worldwide audience. But we hadn't cracked America, and bands that crack America tend to have a more sustained longevity at a higher level
Mm.
worldwide. Because a lot of the world looks to America for its music taste, unfortunately.
You did tour America last year, though, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, and we were supposed to tour this year, but I had to cancel because I had to have heart surgery. So we were actually supposed to do 2 nights at Hebden Bridge in August as warm-ups.
Mm.
We were going to record a new album. Um, it Rockfield, but I had to cancel it and cancel all stuff for this year because I had to get my little heart sorted out.
What have you had done, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I went for a routine test February-ish, and they found that I had an aortic aneurysm, which was very close to rupturing.
Right,
And if it ruptures, it's very nearly always fatal.
right.
I had no idea. There's no symptoms for it,
Hmm.
and it's a dangerous position to be in. To complicate matters, I was born with two congenital conditions. One was I had a bicuspid valve instead of the normal tricuspid, and that over the years, because it had done more work, because it had become calcified, so that it wasn't pumping the blood in and out of the heart as much as it should. And the other thing was, I mean, I went to the surgeon. It was like, well, we got this, this. I said, well, if you're going to open me up, just do it all. You know what I mean? It's like, don't bother coming back next year and want to do something else, you know. And so the other problem was we have membranes that go across our heart or something. Anyway, mine congenital weren't joined up, and if that could have led to strokes. So I had it done about 6 weeks ago, and it was pretty nasty. But I'm on the road to recovery. We're going to make a new album in the new year, and we'll go out and play shows next year, and we'll do
Wow.
America next year.
Well, you don't look like you had major heart surgery 6 weeks ago.
No, No, I mean, I could show you the scar.
Yeah, you're all right.
It's fine.
Thanks.
No, no. I have to wear this thing, like a brace thing on my chest, for
Oh, okay.
3 months, and yeah, I get tired very easily. I mean, I can work in the studio, but I can't really lift amps, which is something I've always wanted to say to the crew, I can't lift amps. But no, I'm fine. I mean, it was horrible for a couple of weeks. I was in the ICU for 10 days, but I'm on the road to recovery. It's going to be fine.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of segues then in. We should talk about the gear, then as you brought up amps. So I went on to what's that website called? It's like it gives you a list of what a pro player's rig is. Can't remember what the website's called.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
And it has you down as Roland JC 120.
Yeah, I've used Roland's since Dead or Alive actually. Um, but that was a JC60, and that was a JC60 that I used initially with the sisters until we got the record deal and I bought a 120. Yeah, I was using that. And then our other guitarist, Simon, was using a JC. And then one time we played somewhere and they only had one JC. So I said, Simon, they had a Fender Twin, an old Fender Twin, one with a master volume,
Yeah, yeah,
channel volume, yeah. And so I used that instead, and it sounded great because the JCs are in the same kind of frequency range. So quite often the they would kind of merge and clash, and it wasn't always nice for the
yeah.
sound guy. Yeah. So with the Fender, it's kind of rounder and warmer, and so it actually worked better for live. The Fender Twin, which is what I use now. We got back together in 2011, and I was using a JC for a couple of years, but then I started to think, you know what, this is too the sound is too similar. So I use a Fender Twin these days,
And it's no wonder
live.
you don't want to pick it up.
Yeah, and yeah, it's got a transformer in it as well.
Yeah,
So
I mean they weigh a
yeah,
ton.
they do. Yeah, but it's I've got people to pick them up for me.
Uh, showing off now.
Mm. We have to pay them, like we have to pay them.
Yeah, that's the downside in it.
Yeah, that is the downside. But no, yeah, I've still got a JC 120. I also have a little JC 40 here in my studio, and I've got a PV. I've got a Fender Twin, an old Fender Twin in there, a PV Classic, and a couple of little amps that I bought over the years, just little practice amps that, so sound pretty good if you might come up if you want that kind of sound.
Cool.
But I don't often use the amps in my little guitar room because I've got a Kemper and I've got a pod and I've got a bunch of software. It's a lot easier doing that these days.
I've been not that I was in the recording studio this morning, but a friend of mine was in the recording studio this morning, and they got which one was it? Tonex maybe or
Yeah,
Neural?
Tonex. Yeah,
Can't
Tonex.
remember which one. And it was so weird because you've got this like thrashing guitar coming out, and the guy sat next to me, and all
Yeah,
you can hear is the sound of the strings. You know,
yeah.
it's, it's
I have mic'd up the strings before. That's actually quite a nice thing. But you play, in the control room and you mic up the strings whilst coming out the amp and you mix the two together. I like the jingle jangle. You know that.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
like the 12 strings are a big thing. So like you've got your signature Schecter
yeah.
guitar.
Got the prototype hanging up over there.
Very good. I mean, it looks lovely. It looks like it's sort of like it's got all the bling of a white falcon, but kind of like a 335 shape.
Yeah, I mean, I was using Gretsch White Falcon on tour for a little while when Schecter contacted me. It was contacted me just before we got back together in 2011 and said, could we do a signature guitar? Yeah, lovely. I'm well chuffed. And I actually get royalties for it as well. It's like
Oh,
amazing. Anyway, they sent me a bunch of Schecter guitars models that they had that kind of to try out. So there's one called the Corsair. So it's based on the Corsair, but a 12 string. So the neck is a bit thicker.
mm,
I wanted to put the lipstick pickups in because I like the look of them. And they got the coil tap things on the so you can get the extra treble in jingle jangle. And it sounds great, you know. I mean, I think when they come from the factory, maybe sometimes I've heard this as well from people that have bought them. They maybe need a bit of setting up,
mm,
restringing him to your taste, you know, and setting up. I mean, most guitars do if you buy them sight unseen, I
yeah, yeah,
think. Yeah. But once and my what I use for live effects is what I've used since 1986 is a GP8, Roland GP8.
all right.
Yeah, I've tried everything else, you know, has come along over the years, and I just still keep going back to that. I've, I can always hear the digital and stuff,
Yeah,
and even with the Kemper, if I use that, I've used that live, and it's like, I've used it live for solo stuff, and you know, I keep going back to the Roland GP8. It's just got eight Boss pedals in it. Basically, you can rearrange them in any order you want. And the only problem with it, and it's not really a problem for me because I'm the singer, and is that if you want to switch between patches during a song, there is a little bit of a gap.
mm,
But for me, being the singer, I just have one sound, basically one sound for the song. Maybe I do change here and there, but then I'll change it when, you know, there's not when I don't need to be playing, if you know what I
yeah,
mean. Yeah.
yeah.
But it's lovely. It's warm. I mean, and you can pick them up for pretty cheap now. I've got about six of them, I think. I've got a couple here and then four in Britain. Well, why not?
Well, exactly.
Yeah. They're old, so I mean, I could figure they're all going to start dying on me around the same time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just looking. You're right. You can actually pick them up on eBay really quite cheaply, can't you?
Yeah, they're great though. If I mean, if you know, and some fans have bought GP8s, you know, you know, like you say, on eBay and stuff. And I've sent them on because you can just dump the patches. I've sent them the patches so they can have the authentic mission sound.
Oh,
Brilliant.
I love that.
Yeah, no, yeah, really, yeah. It's you know, you play the 12 string Schecter through the GP8 into a JC. There it is.
How do you keep your 12 string in tune? I only have to look at mine and it's gone out.
Well, I don't know. I guess I use quite heavy strings for one.
Right.
Also I have them really stretched. I really stretch them, you know. And I don't think I hit the guitar quite as hard as I used to when I was younger.
Bet that might be my problem.
Well, yeah, well, you know, there were lots of drugs involved back in the day, so.
What took you to a 12 string? Because it's been there all the way through, hasn't it? So what took you there in the first place?
I think it was I started using them when I was in Dead or Alive, and that was 12 string Ovation acoustic. And I got a feeling that I bought my first 12 string electric while I was with them and started using it then too, although I can't be sure. I think it was just because if I think I like it. I mean, I don't think there was any. It wasn't particularly anybody around playing 12 strings. I think I'd seen Will Sargent using a Vox 12 string on top of the pops. And of course, I was aware of the Birds and Roger McGinn 12 string, but
Mm.
I wasn't particularly a fan. But I just liked the idea, and I think practically, if you break a string on a six string, can be a bit buggered. You know, it's like, okay, I've only got five strings now. But if you break one on a 12 string, you've still got 11, and you've got one that will play that note, even if it's just one string. It's certainly when the sisters, when we came down, you know, we were a three piece for a while after we lost Gary Marks. So it was just me playing guitar and Craig playing bass and we had the drum machine and Andrew singing. It was godsend, you know, having to change it, change. guitars would have been hell. So 12 string was great for that. Put them through a fuzz box, put them through a compressor, put the phaser on, memory man. I used to use a memory man with them. That it was great. Lovely sound.
I've never thought about that, that whole thing of if you lose a string on a 12 string, you've still got more than 90% of what you started out with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's really quite clever, actually.
Well,
That's the thing I'm going to take from today, Wayne. I'm really sorry about all the great stuff you've thrown in there, but that's the thing I'm going to take with me.
well, fine, fine, fair, fine, fair play.
Didn't Bowie play a 12 string?
Yeah, he did. Each acoustic he did, yeah, for a little while. Starman and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that opening, those opening two chords on Starman. It's like a B is a open E string on with a playing with a B flat. So you're playing a B flat chord and you've got open E string, then you go down to F major 7 with the opening. Lovely.
I'll try that.
That's geeky, isn't it? That's a bit nerdy, isn't it? That. Sorry about that.
That's fine. That's fine.
I think you're at the edge of nerd there. I don't think you're.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. You're saying that's enough of that.
Well, no, I think a proper nerd would be disappointed with that. So that means you're fine with us.
All right. Okay.
So we go through a whole raft of stuff then in terms of because I'm now picturing the instruments with the bands as well.
Right.
So you talked about the kind of mission thing at the peak, sort of probably we're talking 89, 90, 90. Actually, all the time I was at university. Actually, probably.
Yeah, I mean we had our first top 40 in 86. And then 90 was carved in sand. We had a few hits off of that. Top 30 hits, not top 10. And then it was the Mask album I talked about, came out in 92. And I think we got a couple of top 40s out of that. But it was the start of
I mean, that's not to be knocked though, is it? Because back then, to get into the top 40, you had to actually sell quite a lot of singles.
Proper records.
Yeah, we released our second album. I mean, God's Own Medicine was our first album, which I think went into charts 14 at the time, which was really good because we were a new band, and it was certified gold about 3-4 months after it was released. And then the second album, Children, went in the charts. I mean, that went in the charts at number 2 and was certified gold within 3 days of release. And the same one with Carved in Sand, the third album, was again certified gold within the week. Top 10 album. I think it was 7. I think it went in that. So, it was, a nice time to be a member of the mission.
What I was coming around to, did that change? Did your approach to gear change at that point in time? When you found out a bit of commercial success and it's more of probably a purse thing, strings thing, you a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, of course it would. I mean, I started using a Fender Starcaster as well during that period. I bought that actually. I've just after, well, just towards the end of the Sisters of Mercy, but never used it with them. But I used it a lot. I still got it. I use it on every album I've ever made. I still use it. And I liked that guitar so much. I bought 3 of them, and then I started using a Vox 12 string for live, which are horrible guitars actually. So we had fitted with different pickups, and different machine heads, and obviously lost all their value doing that. And then, but the thing about the Vox teardrops, you can't sit down and play them. You can't. They keep falling off your lap.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't use it. I ended up getting 3 of them as well. And the thing was, like I said, I got the Gibson Hummingbird. Before that, I had a Fender El Rio, which was a cheap version of Fender acoustic guitar, but had a very nice brittle sound. I used that quite a lot on the Sisters album, First, Last, and Always. Actually, a lot of that acoustic guitar, brittle sound was that guitar.
You like recording? Do you like being in the studio?
Yeah, I've got my own little studio here. I love it. Yeah.
Do you prefer it to being live or?
Well, it's one of those things that if I've been on tour for 6 weeks, and I will think, fucking hell, I really want to go back in the studio, right? And then you're in the studio for a couple of months. It's like, yeah, I can't wait to go out on tour again. I
Mm.
mean, both of them have their own satisfactions,
Mm.
and I love them both. I mean, touring's becoming harder because of age, because it's becoming more grueling. I mean, people say, "Oh, those Rolling Stones, they're still going there in the 80s." Yeah, but you know what? They've got a private jet. They only do 1 gig a week, and then they got people that carry their suitcases for them. And where a band like us, we have to play, when we're on tour, we have to play 5, 6 nights a week on a tour bus with bad diets, not sleeping very well. It can get difficult. You know.
Got to walk all the way from the third floor of the Bridge Hotel down to the picture dome and back.
That's an exception because that was a luxury.
Mm.
Being in a hotel next to the venue, lovely luxury.
You must come and play it again.
Yeah, we'd love to. I'd love to. We were going to play Hebden Bridge actually this August, this summer, as
Yeah,
warm ups for recording. We had 2 nights there, Hebden Bridge. It's a similar kind of vibe, I think.
yeah, very much. The two places are quite similar, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a bit smaller, but it was. I've not been there, but I think it was a bit small. I like those small gigs for warm-ups.
Hmm.
You know, they're
And what?
great.
Why this part of the world? Because that's two in West Yorkshire. What brings you to West Yorkshire then?
Well, the band originally, I mean, the Sisters of Mercy were from Leeds. When I
Leeds.
joined, yeah, when I joined the Sisters, eventually moved over to Leeds. And then when I left the Sisters, we formed the Mission in Leeds. Mick was from Leeds, Craig obviously from Leeds. I lived in Leeds, and we ended up getting Simon, who lived in Sheffield, to play guitar.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, we just were considered a Leeds band. We considered ourselves a Leeds band.
Well, because Leeds, I mean, for that, it is kind of goth central, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was in the 80s. I mean, it was nice, for us when we had a weekend off and go clubbing. It was very nice for us. But
Because I was at university in Leeds between 1993.
right, okay. Yeah, a bit after my time.
I still remember, nights when there'd be a goth band playing, and suddenly you were like, where have this lot come from?
Yeah.
I've never seen so much, black trench coat action.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I mean, the thing is, I, every goth band, we never really considered ourselves as goth.
no.
But I always felt that, I mean, we had elements of it. I always felt that we were more of like a typical 70s rock band, really. We,
Mm.
we had some pop songs and we had some, long instrumental sections in some songs. I mean, that's what I considered as really, we had some. I kind of dressed up flowery and nice some crushed velvet and flowery shirts.
I was going to ask about that. Like I say, I was doing research today, and I was on Google Images. I was on Google Images really to see what guitars you were using more than
Uh-huh.
anything else.
Uh-huh.
But like, you've got this most incredible selection of shirts that you seem to wear live.
I'm
But
pleased you got onto the shirts because that is a really impressive collection of
it is,
shirts.
and then most of them seem to have cats on them as well.
Yeah, I
Um,
love cats. Let me show you something. Can you see that?
cat socks.
Cat socks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, we got 5 cats. We love them. So, uh, and we've had cats all the time, since we've been married. So, um, yeah, yeah, I don't shop. I guess I don't shop. I shop in women's shops quite a lot, you know, ladies. I mean, I'd tell you what, Sainsbury's pajamas are pretty good, actually. Sainsbury's pajamas for the slightly larger lady. And I've got a couple of them that the bottoms are useless, right? But the tops are really good stay shirts because they're a bit loose, and you can move around. I have to be able to move around in them, and do all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Genuinely wondered whether you got them made for you or not.
I did have some stuff made for me back in the 80s, but that was just a bit stupid, really. No, I don't get them made. I mean, I get stuff online, as well. Uh, I bought three new shirts for this tour. Yeah, I've got them in mum and dad's actually in Bristol. I'm waiting for me and unworn. I think cats were involved in them as well.
There is something fascinating about, because I'm going to try and link a load of things together. I'm going to fail miserably. I'm going to try and link a load of things together here. Right. So you're right about the goth thing, in terms of the fact that I wouldn't, if I was looking at it now, and I've already talked about genres and the large amount of nonsense with genres, but so I was a real big fan of All About Eve.
Yeah, okay, lovely.
First couple of albums, but that your look and their look, Tim's look, weren't dissimilar, but they were kind of folk. They got more of a folky vibe in terms of if somebody was trying to pigeonhole them. But there's a fag paper between some of the stuff you were doing and some of the stuff
absolutely
they were doing.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know if you know the story. I went to the Hammersmith Clarendon, which used to be a little venue opposite where Hammersmith, whatever it's called now, not Odeon.
Oh, Carling Academy, Hammersmith, or whatever it's called these
yeah,
days.
one of them. Anyway, across the way there used to be kind of they knocked it all down, put that new ugly thing there. But there used to be a venue called Hammersmith Clarendon, and we were in London one time, and I went to see Leather Nun because a Swedish band who had a song out called Fist Fuckers, which was a favorite on our bus. And so we went to see the Leather Nun, and like third or fourth on the bill was this band, and called All About Eve. And it's like I watched them, and it's like, what amazing voice she's got, amazing. So I was talking to a girl in there that night who ended up being my girlfriend for a little while. He said, "Oh yeah, I know her. I can introduce you if you want." And it's like, okay, what do you want? What do you want in return? Oh, I want to take you home. Okay, okay. Fine, that's a good deal. So she introduced me to Julianne, and asked her if she would sing on our album, God to Medicine, that we were about to start recording in London. And she said, yeah. So she came down and she bought a cassette of. She came down and did some singing on two or three tracks, Severina being one of them. And she bought a cassette of All About Eve songs, which I loved. So I then gave it to our manager. He loved it. And he started managing them. I gave it to our A&R guy at Phonogram. He loved it, signed them. I gave it to our publisher. He loved it, signed them. We then took them out on tour as our support band. And then they, went their own way, and quite rightly so, because they were great. They were a really good band. And that, as you say, the first two records I think, are really good. She's got an amazing voice. She's so underrated, that girl. Julianne. I'm still in touch with her very regularly.
Well, you did some recording with her, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I've done lots of recording with her. We did
You did a covers project though, didn't you?
Yeah, we did back 2010, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, it was good. She's great. She's got a lovely voice. Lovely voice. I think she should be up there with Kate Bush
Yes.
and Lisa Gerrard and who else is there? There's the greats. I think she should be Sandy Denny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she is. She's got a spectacular voice, and those records really have really stood the test of time. But it also links back in with me trying to join things together with Tim and that guitar playing, interesting ways of using the guitar on that on that record. Some really nice stuff on there.
Yeah, Tim's a lovely guitar player.
Really understated.
He is. He chooses his notes very, very beautifully. Then actually I forgot, amongst all of that, me and Simon from the Mission produced a single for All About Eve as well. And yeah, it was, they were a good band. They didn't have a drummer at the time. I think Mick, our drummer, played drums. And then it ended up sounding like the Mission back in Julianne, really. Because, yeah, but it was just, it did the job.
But that was the bit about when you go into genres, it doesn't work, because actually if you start to look at those things, they're so closely aligned, yet one of those bands kind of gets pigeonholed over here and one of them gets pigeonholed over there, and both of those bits of pigeonholing are kind of wrong. I mean, I run quite a lot, and Deliverance is on my running mix.
Right, yeah, okay.
And that's I'm never going to say that's a goth track.
No, it's not. It's just
it's a pop rock track.
Pop rock track, yeah.
Yeah,
it's an anthem.
Beautifully produced, sounds fantastic. Absolutely, still, sounds absolutely glorious.
Yeah, it's Tim Palmer. Tim Palmer produced that. It does sound. I mean, it's not that I sit here and listen to our records, but on occasion, I have to listen to things to relearn them, to refamiliarize myself with them. But yeah, Deliverance actually does sound really good.
Yeah,
and most of that album sounds really good. The sound of it is really good.
Yeah, production's absolutely lovely, isn't it?
Yeah,
really, really nice. But but if I then said that to a Mission fan, they'd probably take my head off.
No, I think, bless them. I think there is a faction of our audience that are definitely goth. Yeah. And if it hadn't been for them, we probably wouldn't have survived for 40 years.
Yeah.
But I do also think that there's maybe a growing percentage of people that come to see us these days that aren't. And certainly our core audience that follow us around, I wouldn't say any of them are really goth. They're just, they're dressed like us, I suppose, a bit scruffy, and
bit scruffy with a nice shirt.
Yeah, well, they don't have nice shirts as I do. They're unwashed, and I mean, it's like I went to see the Grateful Dead in Christmas time, 1989 in San Francisco, and that was great. But but all the Deadheads, but I actually saw parallels. Obviously, they're on a far grander scale, but I saw parallels with them, with the Mission, in terms of the fan base being so zealous, and they actually had an area behind the mixing desk, a big area, which they cordoned off for people to bring their own tape recorders. And some people came in with reel-to-reels and stuff, set up a little mixing desk to record the shows. And they had this kind of community of sharing bootlegs amongst their audience, amongst that core audience. And I thought that was brilliant. I thought it was a brilliant thing to do. And I thought that would be really good for, to encourage that with our audience, rather than go down Camden Market and pay 30 quid for something that sounds really horrible. I mean, if it's something you record and it sounds really horrible, then you still have a sentimental attachment to it, right? But I didn't like the idea that people would spend a lot of money on something that was rubbish sounding. So I remember coming back from that, and we had a tour coming up, Butterfly on a Wheel, just been released, and press release that we were going to let people come to our shows and record them, with handheld recorders, and it's all fine. And the record company went fucking ballistic.
Of course they did.
Well, why though? The people that come to your shows already bought your records, or they're gonna buy your records. It's just a a souvenir of that show, and then they can swap the tapes with their mates rather than have to pay the 30 quid. Anyway, I had to detract it in the next week's Melody Maker and stuff. But we still, to this day, we still have that clause in our contract. People can come and record the show with handheld recorders.
I like that as a souvenir. I think that's lovely. I mean, a lot of bands do that now, don't they? That they'll take a feed from the desk and put it out for a couple of quid.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can download it digitally, and if you've been to the gig, then you can, for a couple of quid, you can have the
yeah. We've done
you
it. We've
can.
done it too. Whereby we at one time I think it was Brixton Academy where we played, and then you could buy the CD, in the next we'd get it half an hour after the show
Hmm.
in the venue. So I was like, you have to be good that night.
Or not
Well, or
actually,
not,
because
yes, or not.
you.
I don't like Brixton Academy anyway as a venue to play. It's got that horrible round stage, and the PA is back. It's flown back, and so you have to put all the back line way back from the lip of the stage, and then they put a fucking barrier in the way as well.
Hmm.
So the audience are half a mile away. Don't like it.
Well,
Sorry.
on that bombshell, Wayne, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it's been fun, and we didn't talk about Liverpool very much, did we?
Well, go on then. Tell you what, let's have an extra couple of minutes and let's do Liverpool. Let's do Liverpool because you're flying high, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. I mean, we won the title with games to spare, and which is good because we won the title. We clinched the title just before my heart surgery, and because I think if they hadn't, I wouldn't have been able to watch the games after my heart surgery because it would have been too stressful. But so that was thank God, thank God for that. And after they won the title, clinched the title, they were playing with flip-flops on after that anyway. Yeah, it was great. I mean, obviously, people say oh, Man City had a bad season and Arsenal had a bad season, but you still have to do the job. And it was nice to. I think Liverpool are a good club. I think we play football in the right way. We don't go in for any. I mean, there are occasional people falling over when they shouldn't, but we don't go in for the dark arts like some teams do. And I think. Yeah, it was good. And I'm not sure what I think about them going out and spending all this money this summer, though.
Oh, they've signed the German prodigy, haven't they? I can't remember his name.
100 and
116 million or
something, yeah,
something.
Florian Wirtz or however you
Yeah.
pronounce it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he's like in all honesty, but it doesn't seem very much like the Liverpool way to me, actually, to be
No.
honest. But anyway, we'll see. See,
Mm.
I guess, I mean, they hadn't spent any money in the last few transfer windows, really, so and we've been successful. We earned a lot of money from the Champions League last year by winning the group stage. Um, but yeah, no, we went through a really bad period, about bad owners and bad managers. Obviously, the 70s and the 80s were good, but then the 90s weren't so bad, but then 2000. I mean, with Roy Hodgson managing us,
Well, I can sympathise with you because he managed West Brom as well.
yeah. I mean, I can just remember, it was early on in his tenure, and it's like we were playing Blackpool. Because, yeah, well, Blackpool away is a really hard game. It's like fuck off. We should be winning that easy, and I think we ended up losing it, or drawing at least. Yeah.
Wayne, thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you for yours.
Pleased to see you looking so well.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm
Um,
feeling good. Feeling good. I'm feeling on the road to recovery. It's going to be going to be a while, but be fine.
well, next time when you're ready, when you've recorded and you're ready to go on the road, come and do the Picturedrome again. There's a great little tapas restaurant in the village
Okay.
where I live. So we'll take you for some decent tapas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it'd be lovely to see you. Lovely to see you if you get a chance to come
Okay.
over.
Okay. I'll bear that in mind. I mean, last time we were there, we rehearsed for 2 days as well before in the venue. So we
Yeah,
were
so you'll have
there.
plenty of time.
Yeah, it was good, lovely. We went up and did some photographs on the hills
Hmm.
overlooking. It's great out there. It's beautiful. Lovely.
Yeah, well, come and see us,
Yeah, I'd love to.
and
Okay.
that'd be fantastic. And come back and tell us when the album's ready. Come and give us an update.
Okay. All right.
Because I've been listening to the. I was listening to your record from 2014. I've forgotten the title because it's too many words for me to remember in one go. This afternoon, and it's fantastic.
The brightest light. No.
No,
What?
I've got it on here. I'll tell you. Hang on. Hang on, because it's still on. Songs of Candlelight and Razor Blades.
Oh, my solo album.
Yeah, I've been listening to that this afternoon. Absolutely fantastic.
I played everything on that. Well,
it's really really good.
Thank you. Yeah,
I've really been enjoying it.
It's there's some good songs on there, I think.
Yeah. Well, and then back to what we're talking about genres. I mean, Jason and I are both big Jason Isbell fans. I'm a big Richard Hawley fan. You know, I've been listening to this afternoon, and like same thing again. It's like all three of those artists are linked by great songs.
Yeah, I am definitely a song man. All right, lovely to talk with you both, and be lovely to see you both at some point.
Great. Absolutely. Yeah. Jason, great to see you. I'll catch up with you next time.
See ya. All right.
Thanks for listening to 9 to 42, the podcast from the team at the Guitar Show UK. If you've enjoyed the show, then please remember to hit the subscribe button and share with other like-minded souls. For more information about 9 to 42, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram at the Guitar Show UK. This has been an A Short Stories production.